If you struggle with staying consistent with healthy eating, I encourage you to change the metrics you're chasing. Focus on your God-given abilities, especially the ones you don't even know you have, and then ditch the world's vanity metrics. I have found that in most cases, changing that mindset will actually get you both. Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to and let's go. In case you've missed it the last couple of episodes, I just launched a brand new, super exciting opportunity where you can work with me directly. It's called Diet-Free Nutrition Coaching. This is a 1-hour video chat where you can tell me your biggest hurdles with nutrition and meeting your overall health goals, and I walk you through exactly how to conquer it with a personalized plan just for you. This is perfect if you feel overwhelmed by all the information about diets and what's actually healthy, if coming up with meal plans takes too much brain power, or if you could just use a coach to tell you exactly what to do next. Head to coachrain.com/dietfree to book your 1-hour coaching session with me. But don't wait, spots are limited and they are filling up fast. Again, coachrain.com/dietfree to book your deep dive coaching call with me. And with that, welcome to the show. I had a conversation this week with a client who actually just finished my nutrition coaching program, The Sustainable Way. We were chatting about her experience and the journey as a whole, but one thing she said stood out to me that I really wanted to share with you. I actually wrote it down, so I'm just going to read it verbatim. This is what she said. Remember when my main goal was to lose 15 pounds? I had tried everything. I'd lose 2 or 3 pounds, but then put it right back on. It was all I cared about because I just felt fat and ugly. I was so frustrated, and that's why I joined your program. But now, I can't even remember the last time I weighed myself. I have no idea how much I weigh. All I care about is being able to stay active. I want to do fun runs and obstacle courses. I can do a pull-up now. Never thought I'd be able to say that. I want to prepare my body to have kids. I care about my energy lasting all day and being able to think clearly. Like, you've completely changed my perspective on diet. And I can honestly say I do not feel even remotely fat or ugly anymore. I've actually never felt this strong and healthy. Who knew it was never about calories, but all about mindset? First of all, give me a moment while I try not to cry. This is music to my coaching ears. Food freedom at its finest. And another incredible woman who gets to live life in a body she actually loves. Secondly, that's the point of today's episode. The biggest game changer for staying consistent with healthy eating. Because her reflection actually reminded me of how powerful that shift was in my own journey. And you and I both know that consistency is the key to getting results. And that's true with anything. But it's also the hardest thing about the whole process. I mean, how many times have you been doing good and then family comes to town and suddenly you've pounded the whole basket of chips and salsa before the entrees are even at the table? Or your boss caters lunch and, well, it's free, so here we go. I mean, things come up every day that set us back. But what I've found is at the root of inconsistency is not the temptations or the brilliant food marketing that keeps us addicted to products, but rather what we are chasing by dieting in the first place. Just like the client I told you about a minute ago, most of the women whom I have the pleasure of coaching come to me with some kind of weight loss or aesthetic goal. Of course, we pad it with, don't get me wrong, I want to be healthy, but fitting into my favorite pair of jeans or being 10 pounds lighter would be nice. And sis, I am no stranger to this. The whole reason I even stepped foot into a gym for the first time ever was because I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror at 19 years old. I was the heaviest I had ever been, with rolls forming in places I had never seen before, and it wrecked me. So I set out on the quest to lose weight. So when we follow a certain diet protocol to chase a number on the scale or a certain clothes size and whatever metrics that diet culture has instilled in us as an important goal and indicator of beauty standards, there is a part of us that feels inauthentic doing so. We might not be able to put our finger on it, but think about it. Why does that one number on the scale mean so much to you? What will happen when you get there? Why that number in particular? For me, it was simply because being lighter was just better. I didn't want whatever boyfriend I had at the time to struggle picking me up. That's what culture inadvertently told me. For some of my clients, they say that number is important to them because that's what they weighed in high school and when they really felt good about themselves. So if they could only get back to that, then they would have confidence again. What I eventually learned is that 150 pounds or 135 pounds or whatever that number is for you, it looks very different on me than it does on you, than it does on your best friend, and for everyone for that matter. That number is arbitrary. I might as well have pulled it out of a hat. And when that is the thing holding you accountable, when someone brings donuts to work or offers you a glass of wine, or when you step off the longest flight ever and are immediately hit with the smell of Auntie Anne's pretzels, I'm sorry, but that number isn't a very strong motivator. Sure, it'll beat you up mentally on the other side of whatever less than stellar food choice you make. Absolutely. But in that moment, when temptation hits, it almost stays silent. Here's what I now know from both personal experience and through years of coaching hundreds of women. Consistency comes with conviction, not motivation, that dies pretty fast, but real bona fide conviction. And when you change the metrics that you're chasing, it becomes real easy to stay consistent with healthy food choices. Let me illustrate this more clearly. In my quest to lose weight, I started by following a random Pinterest workout and diet plan. I would go for runs around my neighborhood, which I despised, but it was the only thing that I knew people did for exercise. And I tried eating only healthy foods, avoiding all desserts, the whole shebang. And when I did that for a week straight and nothing changed, not even 1 pound lost, I was so frustrated that I thought, this isn't even working, and went and got ice cream to make myself feel better because clearly it didn't matter anyway. Sound familiar? I spent a couple of years in this cycle before I was on the brink of totally giving up. And that's when the Lord spoke to me. I remember it clear as day. He said, "Chelsea, what if you live and die never knowing all that I made you capable of?" That hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, what a travesty if when I got to heaven, instead of, "Well done, good and faithful servant," I get, "What happened? I had so many plans for you, but your body wasn't fit for them." In that moment, the chase was no longer a number on the scale or a size of clothes to fit into. The chase was to discover just how capable this blessing of a body God gave me truly is. I made my metrics ability-based, not aesthetically based. My worth was no longer in how I looked, but rather what I could do, how I showed up. I wanted my body to be capable of whatever God's plan for my life was at any given moment. Luke chapter 12, verse 40 says, "You must also be ready, because the Son of Man will come at any hour when you do not expect him." Jeremiah 29:11, one of my favorites, says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper and not harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." So tactically, what did that look like? Well, I didn't go for a run to burn calories anymore. I would run to strengthen my heart and build endurance. I started lifting weights. And I'm not talking the 10-pound dumbbells for bicep curls, but like barbells with plates. I wanted to be able to squat my own body weight, which to me meant having the ability to hold up an entire human being for more than a second. I worked towards being able to do a pull-up without assistance and a real push-up, not from my knees. I rediscovered my love for gymnastics type stuff like handstands, which I used to practice in the backyard as a little girl all the time. I started working on my mobility again and having the ability to do the splits like I could when I was a dancer. All of these physical abilities that made me feel strong and accomplished became the chase. And I'll tell you what, there was joy in pursuing them. There still is. I mean, I can work on something for a week and actually see improvement. That was definitely not the case before. Now, this is how it became the biggest game changer for staying consistent with healthy eating. Instead of working out to burn off food I ate, I would eat to fuel these fun athletic endeavors I was pursuing. If I ate something processed, loaded with sugar, or even just overate, I knew I would suffer physically the next day. Never mind the mental jujitsu of that, but I would honestly feel gross. And it would set back my ability goals. You know, the thing that God said He created within me and He created within you. It became much, much easier to say no thanks to the temptations when I knew the compromise it would become. I am convicted about making choices that steward my body. And please hear me when I say this. I don't think there's anything atrociously wrong about having aesthetic goals. I still go through seasons where I want to focus on a particular muscle group, but if those goals are in the driver's seat all the time, you will always either be disappointed or living on a really short leash in life. I know a lot of people with abs who are still quite unhealthy, but if having abs and quad separation and busting biceps is the side effect of discovering all that you are capable of, pushing the upper limits, and stewarding your body, how much more rewarding and peaceful of a mindset is that? And I can promise those results will stick around a lot longer than if you were to get there from restrictive dieting. All right, let me summarize that TED Talk I just gave you. If you struggle with staying consistent with healthy eating, I encourage you to change the metrics you're chasing. Focus on your God-given abilities, especially the ones you don't even know you have, and then ditch the world's vanity metrics. I have found that in most cases, changing that mindset will actually get you both. And if you could use a helping hand to get that ball rolling, I would love to see you in my diet-free nutrition coaching, a 1-hour call with me where I will walk you through the exact next steps you need to take to become the healthiest, best version of you. Because, my friend, you are more capable than you know. Go to coachrain.com/dietfree to schedule your call today. That's coachrain.com/dietfree. I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the Weekly Harvest, my weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for the Weekly Harvest. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.